You are now tuned in to the lovely frequency.
Hi, my lovelies. Welcome to the home of good vibrations, your sanctuary for soulful vibes and elevated stories. This is the lovely frequency, and I am your host, Nompumelelo Lindlovu. Call me Miss Lovely, but only if you love me, okay? Today's episode is basically going to be a welcome to the new year, a catch up on how the new year has been going, and I guess just a reintroduction for me back into my podcast, just a reintroduction into things that I enjoy, things that I love, things that I care about and want to speak on. And yeah, I guess today is just about it's just about me bringing myself back into a space that I felt, at least for the first month in 2025, that I couldn't come back into, you know? And yeah, I guess I kind of just wanted to speak on that a bit. And yeah, I know I just jumped into it. But there's really just I don't wanna F around and find out today, okay? I just want I want us to get into it today. But yeah. I guess I'll start off today's episode by saying Happy New Year. If you know, you know. The new year really starts in February. If you know, you know. So yeah, Happy New Year to all those that have been having a wonderful year. Happy New Year to all those that haven't been having a wonderful year. You know, I saw this picture it was basically like a little timeline, and it started off in January, ended in December. And January had basically been colored out and it was labeled as lessons. And February to December was basically highlighted as opportunities. And that's honestly how I am looking at this year because, honey, I don't even really want to get into it, but okay, I guess I got to get into it. I can't just put on the camera, say that I'm going to create some content, and then not create the content. Okay, so this is the content. This is me getting into what 2025 has basically been for me so far. Okay, so I basically like to start off the new year with positive affirmations, positive energy, just kind of setting the mood and the intentions for the year. However, this year has been a little different for me, just because I felt like I wasn't in a space where I was able to, set those intentions, set that energy, even though it's honestly really what I needed. And I think the reason why I couldn't really bring myself into that space, cultivate that energy, and come back here and just, 1st of Jan, Happy New Year kind of vibes, besides the things that actually were happening behind the scenes, behind the curtains, at home and all, just internally for me, I just felt like I was dealing with a lot of conflict and dealing with a lot of what I recognized as unresolved and unhealed wounds and things that I really didn't expect to happen, but also things that I didn't expect to move me in the way that they did, So I think I'm realizing that I have a very hard time separating my emotions from my capabilities, if that makes sense. I have a very hard time distinguishing that, okay, these are my feelings and this is where they belong, and this is something else completely different and independent of those feelings, And I think that's because for me, everything just is so intertwined. I'm just a person that if I feel something about a specific thing or towards a specific situation, then it affects the way that I interact or, go about that certain thing. And I'm trying to get myself in a space where that isn't the case, you know? And I don't know. I don't I, Firstly, I'd also just like to say if this episode feels like it has no direction, it is because it doesn't have any direction, okay? I just flicked on the camera and decided to do a thing, okay? I felt like I just had to talk. And I don't even really know what I want to talk about, but yeah. So we're going to just talk about like me not being able to separate my feelings from my capabilities, okay? So yeah, I noticed that I'm the kind of person that when I feel negative emotions, especially negative emotions, sadness, anxiety. Well, I don't even really consider anxiety as a negative emotion, only when it really just does overpower me and stops me from, doing the things that I really want to do, that I really know I can do. That's when I really view it as a negative emotion. But yeah, I'm a person that really does get crippled by negativity and like by negative emotions, Not by negativity from people necessarily, but definitely from the negative feelings that arise whenever I think about certain things, whenever I feel certain things, and whenever I experience certain things. So let me just lend some context to what it is that I'm even talking about. Okay. Um Ah, yeah. Also vulnerability. While we're on the topic, while I'm just lending a perspective to things and all that. Yeah, vulnerability is a weird one for me. But anyways, I'm digressing. So I don't know what your 2025 has been like so far. I don't know what your January has been like. I don't know what your festive season was like. Okay, what entering the new year looked like for you. But I'm hoping that entering the new year and the festive season and all of that was an amazing time for you. I'm hoping that, it's been just a great start. It's been a just a launch towards all of your goals, your aspirations. It's been just filled with wonderful energy and just wonderful thoughts and feelings and all of that wonderful stuff. Okay. I really hope that that's what 2025 has been for you. And I especially hope that it has been that for you because it has not been that for me. Okay. It has not been that for me. And I do not wish the kind of starts to the new year that I've had onto anyone, if I'm being honest. So without really, I guess, revealing too much or, getting all sad over here and just, dragging everybody down into the dumps with me, I will say that 2025 has been a difficult year for me so far. Okay. I feel like January has been a long ass year. It's been a tough year. First of all, it's been hot as hell. Okay. It's been so hot out here. And second of all, it's just been so confusing for me because it's been one of those years where obviously in 2024, I was looking ahead. Whenever we near the end of the year, I think we all have this sense of like, okay, that was such a tough year, year end fatigue. Now it's time to like rest and enjoy and do all these amazing things and get together with family and just re energize. Girl, from December, life has just been just a downhill ride, with boulders in between and little twigs in the way and thorn bushes and just tumbleweed. And it's been dusty and it's been weird. Okay. And because it has been that way for me, just based off of like mostly personal things, family things, um, and just experiences that, I've had recently, because it's been that way, I have been in a space where I was feeling really, really sad. Okay. I was feeling really sad. Your girl was feeling down and quite directionless. I don't know if you ever really experienced this thing, this I don't even really know what to call it. It's a phenomenon. It's not a phenomenon. It's a thing. It's an experience. It's a vibe where you things are going okay. Things are going okay and you look forward into the new year and you set all these plans and nothing goes according to plan. Every single thing that you plan goes the complete opposite way. Every single thing that you hope for, you get none of that. Every single thing that you thought was actually isn't. I don't know if you've ever experienced that kind of thing that happens, but yeah, that tends to be the theme of my life, where I'll plan for one thing and it'll go the other way. And I'll think that things will go this particular way, but they'll really go the complete other way, and it'll always just be a curveball that I never expected. And I don't know why, after all this time at my big, big age, I still haven't realized that you can never actually really plan for life and you can never predict what's going to happen. And you really need to be a person that is open to all kinds of change and really a person that can consider deeply all kinds of possibilities without those things dragging you down and weighing you down and being too heavy for you to bear. You really have to learn to be that kind of a person, because essentially, I think life is set up in that way where it's like a lot of ish is going to go down and you're most likely not going to be happy with the outcome or the process, really, rather. You're not going to be that happy with the process, but it isn't the outcome that you'll find why certain things went a certain way. And now, obviously, I don't think this is a golden rule for like everything. I don't think it's like the standard rule for every single thing, because some things really just don't make sense. And some things, honestly, we don't need to be experiencing certain things. But there are certain things in life that we cannot fully prepare for. And there are certain things in life that we do need to acknowledge and be aware of and be prepared for, even if it's just preparing our minds, our hearts, and just our souls, just to accept those things and to realize that they're just things that are unavoidable. So I feel like my December 2024 / January 2025 has been one of those kind of experiences where it's been a matter of things happening and me being totally unprepared for them, things happening and me not even having put in the time, the work to even consider that such things were possible. And when I was faced with the possibility of, I guess, the worst thing in my life happening, I crumbled. I broke down, I folded, I imploded, pretty much. And I was so broken that I was unable to bring the kind of energy that I want to practice in my life, to bring the kind of energy that I want to spread, through my platforms, through just being me, just being alive. Yeah, I experienced emotions and things. And I guess my reality was kind of just shifted, and my view of reality was kind of just shifted to a place where it shook me to the core. And I realized that as much as I want to be a person that practices a lot of gratitude and practices a lot of positivity in her life is obviously not always going to be peaches and cream, right? And life is not always going to offer you opportunities to, well, let me not even word it that way. Life is not always going to be easy, and life is not always going to be happy, and you're not always going to immediately see reasons to be happy or grateful or positive, right? And I feel like 2025 has highlighted that to me, even though we're really only just a month in, right? A month and some days in. And I guess I had to sit with that. And I had to confront certain things about myself, and I had to confront the fact that as much as I'm doing a lot of growth, there's maybe some areas in my life that honestly I'm I'm maybe just unable to grow in those places because I haven't necessarily given my time to pour into those places because they're too painful for me to even like look into. They're too painful for me to even consider. They're too scary for me to really even venture into, you know? But I have learned in my time on this earth that the difficult things, the hard things, and the scary things are often the things that create the biggest change in your reality. They create the biggest change, not only in the most obvious ways, but also in the really small ways that do make a bigger change, you know? So, yeah, I guess I don't even know. This is very much like just me venting on this mic. I don't even really know. There's no direction, but please do forgive me for that. I'm sure we'll find our groove. Okay. It's been a while since I put this mic on and the lights, the camera. I'm a bit nervous. Yeah. So when these things were revealed to me, it kind of also revealed the fact that I maybe had been living in a little bit of like a bubble, you know? And if you're living in a little bit of a bubble that you create for yourself and is your own little reality, it's very hard to consider things that are outside of that bubble. It's very hard to acknowledge things that are outside of that bubble, you know, because they have no place in your perfect little reality that you've created for yourself. And a perfect reality doesn't even have to be one where you don't struggle with certain things, and it doesn't even have to be a reality where you get every single thing that you wish for every single time, right? But it is usually a reality that you're comfortable enough with. You know, you're comfortable enough with those struggles. You're comfortable enough tackling those certain things because maybe for a while you've been focusing attention on just those things, you know, that seemed quite obvious or that you allowed yourself to pay attention to specifically, you know? But now the problem with creating a bubble like that, you know, a bubble of gratitude and joy and peace and all this beautiful, wonderful energy is that when anything that is outside of that reality and outside of that bubble comes at you and penetrates that reality, oh my gosh, it shakes your reality to the point where you cannot believe that this is life. You cannot believe that this is real, you know? And I feel like that has been the past month for me, where I've just been faced with so many different scenarios and things that just seem so unreal to me, to the point where I couldn't cultivate the kind of energy that I really need to cultivate in my life for survival, you know? It got to a point where, because I wasn't practicing gratitude, because I felt like there was really nothing to really be grateful for at that moment, because I wasn't feeling positive, I was like, there's nothing to smile about, okay? And because it was just a space that was so weird and unexpected for me, um, I felt very dejected, you know? I felt very I felt very dejected and I felt very out of body. And I felt like, you know, things just didn't make any sense, you know? And it's not very often that I allow myself to go into those spaces where I feel those kinds of negative emotions, where I allow myself to get to a place where I'm so depleted that I'm really honestly operating from a place of depletion. It's not often that I allow myself to go to those places because I know how dangerous that space can be, you know? I know how dangerous it is to exist in a space that is absent of gratitude, you know? I know what it's like to live in a space that is lacking positivity, you know, that is lacking optimism, you know, that is lacking just joy and just looking forward and all these wonderful things. And because I saw myself really going into that space and the timing was so messed up, it's like this is 2025 and I'm going into this new year with all this negative energy and I'm trying very hard to still, you know, just be all this lovely energy, spread all this lovely energy and whatnot. yeah, I don't know. I just felt like I didn't have the right energy to come back here. Okay. And obviously now this is me now recording this episode post all the things that I was feeling and all the things that I was experiencing in my personal life that, you know, were breaking me and making me feel sad and all of that. But I still felt like it was important to talk about that time because in that time I couldn't talk, you know? And I never want to be a person that only speaks positively and speaks bravely and, speaks out when things are amazing. I want to be a person that is able to honestly articulate her mind, her feelings, her thoughts and experiences, whether they're good or they're bad, because I've realized that all of these things honestly are, even though shitty, I know it's such a shitty statement, even though those things are just what they are, negative feelings and everything, they are important when it comes to figuring out who it is that I want to be in this life and who it is that I truly am, because it's one thing to say that you're this or that, and it's a whole other thing to actually live as that, So I guess these things that I experienced revealed to me that as much as I am a person that will, wake up and give gratitude and just be happy and just, enjoy life and just be happy for the little things, I'm also a person that really shuts down completely and goes completely silent and breaks down and just ain't no gratitude, ain't no positivity, ain't no affirmations when I need them the most, And that didn't make sense to me. I was like, how could it be that I'm a person that really says things that are meant to be uplifting and inspiring, because that's really what I want this platform to be. I wanted this platform to be a space of mine where I could come to draw back good energy, happy energy, encouraging energy, inspiring energy, but also to just give that back to you, And that's who I want to be, but that's who I couldn't be when I needed that, And I think that also that's really what those experiences and thoughts and feelings highlighted to me. They highlighted the fact that I'm a little stuck in my little bubble, oftentimes. And it's important to come out of that bubble, but to still maintain your truth, And I don't know, I guess even though this episode is like all over the place, in the spirit of maintaining my truth, I really just wanted to be a person that, could give the energy that was needed, not just to other people, but also to myself, And I think it just made me so sad in my moments of in my darkest times and in my moments of weakness, that I couldn't be a person that could show up for myself, when I needed it. I couldn't be a person that could really show up for myself because I couldn't show up for any of my platforms. I couldn't show up for my friends. I didn't even want them to show up for me. It was just such a weird time, and I know that I want less and less of those moments. Obviously, I want less of just negative moments in general, and experiences, but I want less of those moments where I'm shortchanging myself of the good and great energy that I'm always trying to cultivate in my life and practice and implement into my life, I don't want to be the kind of person that will just pour myself into things and other people and not be able to do that for myself, I just think 2025 is honestly one of those years that's going to teach me more and more, just with each day, how and why it is important to pour into myself and the kind of energy that I need to pour into myself in order to survive those moments where where my tank is basically almost empty, Because those moments, even though they are unavoidable and unfortunate, and even though I'd rather go without them, they will come, and I need to be the kind of person that is mentally strong enough and emotionally strong enough to overcome those situations and those feelings and those thoughts and emotions, you know? So yeah, in realizing all of that, I honestly actually found that I actually am a person that is emotionally strong. And I actually am a person that is mentally strong, you know? I just think that I'm a person that needs to pour into myself just a little more, you know? Because the strength definitely does exist. I don't ever feel like I'm a person that can be defeated by a situation or by a thing or by a thought or by a feeling, you know? Even though that tends to be the doubt that plays in the back of my mind, I'm a person that knows that I'm strong enough to overcome those things. And I'm a person that knows that I have experienced, you know, some really, really sad times in my life. But I know that I'm a person that made it out on the other end. And I'm a person that was able to draw strength from the fact that I've seen certain things, you know. I'm a person, yeah, I don't know. I'm so sorry. I'm just like trying to not like say too much because I don't want to get like all sad over here. But I don't know. I think my resisting speaking and just saying what it is that I want to say is making it so hard for me to communicate right now because I don't want to get too personal and I don't want to get too, you know, just put all my business out there on the interwebs. But it's like, what is the point? What is the point of this podcast if I can't do that, you know? Because that's honestly what this platform is for me to honestly come here and be as transparent and be as vulnerable and be as open as I possibly can be in the hopes that, you know, I come back and draw strength from a time that I thought, you know, being vulnerable was difficult, but I managed to do it, you know? I want this to be a place where people can come and draw strength from the fact that, you know, I did something that I deemed to be so hard and, you know, I did it anyways, you know, because I needed to hear it and I wanted other people to hear it should they need that same motivation and encouragement, you know? So I'm being so fake right now, if I'm being honest, because I'm finding it so hard to truly, truly be vulnerable right now because there's certain things that I just don't want to talk about. But yeah, we're here anyways. So anyway, my December was very difficult, guys. It was tough. It was not fun. I was not having a good time on Earth, okay, in December, and I was not having a good time on Earth in January. Please tell the aliens come beam me up because what is this ghetto-ness that has been happening on this Earth? And on top of that, it's been so hot. Oh my God, it has been so hot in South. Honestly, I don't understand. Looking at the version of events of my life and then the heat and then just how down in the dumps I was feeling, I'm convinced the world is coming to an end because what is this? Really, what is this? What do we call this? Huh? But anyways, so let's get into it. The vulnerable stuff that I don't want to talk about, it's the personal stuff that I don't want to talk about is just simply the fact that my mother was not well. Okay, she wasn't well December/January, and for an entire month she was hospitalized, and that shook me to the core. It shook me to the core because I had never necessarily considered the fact that, you know, one day I'm gonna be without her, you know, and I'd never necessarily deeped that could come at any time, you know. And I think that's just how we are as people. We don't necessarily go around thinking about the fact that our worst moments could hit us at any given points, and there is nothing that you actually can do to stop those things. Like, your worst fears could come true at any given moment, and there is literally nothing that you can do to stop that from happening. You can prepare as much as you want to prepare. You can, I don't even know, sing and dance and cry and whatever you want to do, but if something is going to happen, it's going to happen. Nothing will stop the motion of the universe, you know? And sometimes the universe does things and you be looking at her and you're like, girl, what is this? And she's just like, girl, this is the game, okay? This is just how it is, and I don't know what to tell you. And you just got to take it, you know? And that's just how life is. You're never going to be prepared for your worst moments, but you have to know that they're probably going to come. But I'm not here to depress you and make you feel all sad and all these negative emotions, Because on the flip side of knowing that your worst moments could hit you at any time is the fact that you actually have the responsibility to yourself to make sure that you cultivate good feelings within yourself, good thoughts, and that you put yourself in a space where you don't always have to be like happy every single day, but you put yourself in a space where you have enough emotional strength and enough mental strength that, when things do hit you, you're able to still show up not only for, the people around you that are also affected by the things that, you're going through, but you're really able to show up for yourself, because that is what's important at the end of the day. Because if your worst tragedy hits you and you're left completely alone, let's say that is your worst tragedy, you being completely without anybody in this entire world, you still need to be the kind of person that is strong enough to say, okay, certain things have happened in my life and I've experienced certain things and this and that has unfolded. But you know what? This is not going to stop me in my tracks because it doesn't have the authority to do so. This is not going to stop me in my tracks, and this is not going to stop me from becoming what I envision myself to be. This is not going to stop me from achieving all these wonderful things that I set out to achieve for myself before tragedy striked. Yeah, I think that's the right word. Striked. Okay? Before I was stricken by tragedy, I had dreams and I had aspirations and I had all these good feelings and I had all these wonderful feelings about life. And I said that 2025 was my year. You still need to be the kind of person that can pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and keep moving, because honestly, I feel like I've said something like life is for the living, and really life is for the living, because if you stop in your tracks, you need to realize that while you have stopped in your tracks and you're stuck there with all your feelings and your doubts and fears and everything, life moves on. Life moves on. Life does not have the time to wait for you to not be so sad anymore and then to continue, Life doesn't have the time to wait for you to say, okay, today feels like a day where I might start living again. I might start believing in myself again, You need to be the kind of person that is in a constant state of gratitude, even though it's messed up, even though it's effed up, even though things don't make sense. You need to be the kind of person that is grateful for the life that you're living, because even though ish happens, you still have the opportunity every single day to turn the situation around, and nothing can stop that. As much as nothing can stop the motion of the universe and your worst moments can hit you at any time, nothing can stop the motion of you. And that is just a fact. If you tell yourself that you're the kind of person that's going to get up and get shit done, excuse my French, no matter what, nothing can stop that. But if you also tell yourself that you're the kind of person that is overpowered by the things that you experience, by your situations, nothing is going to stop that either, I've read a lot of things and seen a lot of videos that basically says that the universe rewards you. The universe will reward you with whatever it is that you say, with whatever it is that you do. It'll make sure that stuff happens successfully for you, okay? Whatever it is that you pursue to do, you will do successfully. So if you decide to stop in your tracks, oh honey, you're going to stop with the best of them, okay? If you decide to be stuck in your tracks, you're going to be stuck with the best of them, okay? You're going to win gold medals for the Stuckathon, okay? That's going to be you, leader of the Stuck Nation. And we don't need that. Honestly, we really don't need that. So how do we put ourselves back into a space where, things happen, but we still move, Because we must do as life does. We must do as the universe does. The universe will show you your mother's last born, and it'll keep moving as if nothing happened. Because it also wants to see how you're going to navigate. It also wants to see if you really know how to play this game, So how do you navigate life, and how do you still get yourself back in a space where you keep going even when it feels impossible to keep going? Well, the first thing that you have to do is to understand that life is turbulent. Life is turbulent and life is unpredictable. And that is what makes it so interesting, So what I believe that this year has revealed to me so far It's just the fact that life ebbs and it flows, and it's never going to be exactly what you want it to be. And if anything, it's probably going to be nothing like you wanted it to be at all, but you have to be open to that. I've spoken about embracing change, yet I'm still a person that honestly is having such a difficult time with embracing change, especially when the change is painful and the change is the worst case scenario and the change is something that I definitely do not want to happen at all, But there's nothing you can do about that. And that shouldn't make you feel hopeless and helpless. That realization shouldn't make you feel dejected and like there's no point to anything. If anything, that should make you feel like, well, if stuff is going to happen anyways, whether I have a say or not, that means then I should just basically do whatever it is that I want, right? That is what that then reveals to you, is the fact that you honestly really should be doing whatever you want. Because tomorrow, life could change. And will you honestly be able to say that you're the kind of person that did the things that you wanted to do, that lived the way that you wanted to live, and that you really tried to be that kind of person? Or will you then be the kind of person that will blame life every single step of the way and say that because of life, because of this and that, I was never able to do this and that and that? And if you're going to be that person, what value will you gain from that? What will you get from being the kind of person that will say that life did this to me, hence I'm stuck in my feelings, in my sadness, in this motion? What good will you get from being that kind of person? You will get nothing from being that kind of person. I'm going to just tell you right now. And I'm telling this especially to myself because I honestly couldn't believe, even though I know this about myself. I know I'm the kind of person that when I experience sad emotions and sad feelings and things like that, I cannot operate. I know this, but for me, it's not enough to know this. It's not enough to just know that and just accept that and just be that kind of person. Because I don't want to ever be the kind of person that is just stuck in a moment or stuck in a situation or stuck in something that I couldn't have changed anyways. Whether with or without my input, I couldn't have changed it. I can't be the kind of person that will be stuck in those kind of situations because that will drive me crazy. Okay? And I don't want to go crazy. I might already be a little crazy. I don't need even more craziness. Okay? So I'm just trying to be, I really just couldn't believe that was me, like crippled by my feelings, crippled by my thoughts, crippled by my experiences. And I couldn't believe that I couldn't muster up creative energy and just use that to heal me. I couldn't believe that I couldn't be that person, And I think the reason why I couldn't show up for myself in the way that I needed to was just because I hadn't really deeped the fact that every day isn't gonna be a day that you're grateful for, even though you really should be, because thank God you're alive, right? And every day isn't always gonna be the kind of day that you planned for. You could really plan for a day so well down to a T, but there's always going to be something that's going to happen. We live in a world where we live with other human beings, and human beings are unpredictable. And then we live in a universe that kind of just does its own thing for its own amusement, So we need to be open to that as well, So I had to understand that life ebbs and flows. It moves in and out of these phases and these spaces. And whenever you come out of certain phases and spaces that, were difficult for you or just different for you, you come out different as well. You come out either with a better understanding of yourself, of, your surroundings, the situation, or you really just come out angry, angry and sad, and just with all the negative emotions that really don't ever get you anywhere. And if those are really your only two choices, I don't know about you, but I'm wanting to be the kind of person that comes out of situations that, especially ones that I couldn't avoid, comes out of those situations, a better person, a different person. Maybe not even a better person, but definitely a different person, but different in a good way. Different in a way where I can accept things more easily. I can go with the flow much easier. I can still show up for myself, even though, I'm almost at zero on the tank. I can still show up for myself because that is important. Because essentially, if you're not showing up for yourself, who is going to show up for you? There is literally nobody else that will show up for you. Because what will happen one day if that person is no longer there for you? Who is going to show up for you? And who are you going to blame then? Are you going to blame the universe? And after you're done blaming the universe, are you going to get rewarded for that? There's really no reward for a person that just blames their problems on everybody, and for a person that doesn't show up for themselves, unfortunately. And even though we'd love for the world to stop when tragedy strikes us, or we're shocked, or we're sad, or whatever, it's not going to happen. So the best thing that we honestly can do for ourselves is to learn how to cultivate the kind of energy that propels us forward, keeps us moving, keeps us going, even if it's difficult. To learn how to harvest and, I guess, to harness that energy that is so negative and sad and draining and just weighing you down, and to switch it into something that, can be beautiful, can be something you can work with, something you can move forward with, and something you can work through until you find yourself on the other side of the thing, So I actually wanted to read something that I saw on Instagreezy. I saw it on Instagreezy the other day by a poet named Alex Klingenberg. I hope I said that right. I'm so sorry if I butchered your name. But basically, Alex says something like this. Well, she says this verbatim. I go in and out, don't you? Into flow and gratitude, and out of it again. Into grief and hopelessness, and out of it again. Into routine, into cooking, walks, connection, and then into bed, into the bath, into my head, and my tears. These days call for the ability to sway. Sway into reality, sway into empathy, and back again. Dip toes into fear, anxiety, awareness, and rest in creativity, distraction, comfort. We go in and out, like tides, creating our own slow rhythms and finding the pulse of survival. Now, it resonated with me because it was something that I felt, it was something that I became very aware of, especially in my time of sadness. I was very aware of the fact that maybe just a couple of days before my sad times, I was so grateful and I was so happy. And I then experienced this thing that shook me, and I suddenly couldn't bring myself to a place where I could practice that gratitude. I could be happy for certain things in life. I could look at life more positively, And I low-key judged myself a little bit, because I was like, how dare you be a person that's going to come here on the lovely frequency and talk about be all grateful, practice gratitude, embrace change, but really, you're not that person, But in realizing all of that, I had to give myself grace, because at the end of the day, I am a human being, okay? And as much as I would love to be the kind of human being that is unfazed by things, and I live in La La Land, this is the real world, okay? And besides this being the real world, this is also South Africa, okay? So yeah, enough said. So when I read this, it kind of put me at ease. It put me at ease because it made me realize that it's actually quite okay to be okay one day and not so okay the next day, to realize and to anticipate the moments when you're not going to be okay, to realize that, those moments are going to come. And you know what? That's fine. That's a part of life. That's a part of the unavoidable, But what is important is to realize that you are going to get back to a better place. You are going to get back to a good place, Your moments of grief and sadness and just terror and horror is not going to last you forever. especially if you don't let it. There is always the possibility for, things to happen, for things to, just be out of your hand, and for you to just be stuck in a space for a very long time. But you become stuck for a lesser and lesser amounts of time when you can be the kind of person that still pours back into yourself, even when it's so difficult, even when it's so rough and tough, and even when it seems so impossible, you can still get back to that place because you're more than capable of getting back to that place, and you need to realize that you are solely responsible. You're solely responsible for your happiness. You're solely responsible for your well-being, and you are solely responsible for making sure that you never get stuck. And if you do get stuck, you don't stay there for too long, because you don't belong there. You simply don't belong there. That's not the way that life works. That's not the nature of the universe. And that is not the nature of being a human being, You cannot allow a moment or things that were so unexpected to trap you. They don't have the authority to do that. You need to be the kind of person that believes that, there is definitely always more for me out there. There is definitely more for me than the situation. And there must be more for me in the situation, The situation seems kind of messed up right now, but there must be more for me. There must be something that I need to realize in this moment, even though I don't want to face it. But there must be something that I need to realize that is ultimately going to help propel me forward and help me survive. Because if I allow myself to get stuck in that space, essentially my dreams die, my hopes die, my happiness turns into sadness. Everything that had color one time is now all dull and gray. And honestly, we don't want to be living like that, okay? So I know this has been kind of all over the place, but I think the basic message that I wanted to relay to you today was that if you have been having a tough time, or you've just been faced with things that you didn't expect, I want you to know and understand that while those things are very unfortunate, and, I would rather you not go through terrible things, terrible moments and experiences and things like that, those things are unavoidable, unfortunately. And so the first thing that we need to do is to accept the fact that we are going to flow in and out of good moments and of bad moments. You're going to be in the bad, but you're going to flow out of it and flow back into the good. And you're going to go back from the good, flow into the bad. And you cannot avoid that process. You can't, okay? You can try to numb yourself from the process, but we already spoke about that. And I already said, we are going to do better than just being the people that are just on autopilots and just kind of winging life, okay? We're not going to be those kind of people, especially because this is the beginning of a new year. We are aware that we've been certain types of people in the past. We are capable of being certain people, but we want more, okay? We want more for ourselves. We want to truly grow. We don't want to just be the kind of people that speak about growth and don't actually put in the work to grow. Yeah, growth is so painful, that's just what it is. That's the whole game of life. Growth is painful, but you need to know that in that pain, you truly will find yourself. You truly will find who it is that you are meant to be, but you need to be an active participant of this thing, okay? You cannot get stuck, and I won't even allow you to get stuck. In fact, here I am. Take my hand, okay, and let me lead you out of that sad moments, because you do not belong there. And that thing does not have any kind of authority over your life, okay? So what I think we should do today, as a matter of fact, because this is a new year, and because we want to set intentions for ourselves, and because we want to be the kind of people that really, are able to drag ourselves out of those low points into maybe not your highest points, but at least into points that are, high enough that, they lead you to at least the first step. And then when you feel strong enough, you take the second step, and so on and so on. So what I think that we should actually do today is focus on how to cultivate that energy, that good energy, that uplifting energy, and that energy that honestly does take us out of survival mode and more into living mode, where we survive the things that hurt us and, make us sad. But we also acknowledge that, what, in that sadness and in that hurt, you're actually just making me stronger. And you about to see that I'm about to be the baddest bitch out because you hurt me, okay? So I like to start the new year off with just good energy, positive energy. And because our new year starts in February, I think this is the perfect time for us to actually set the intentions for the new year. Okay, so I'm going to urge you to set your own intentions for the new year. Okay. In spite of all the things that may have happened to you, in spite of all the things that you may have experienced, whether this year has been your cup of tea or it's been the most bitter coffee you've ever had in your life, whatever the case is, I want to urge you to really set the kind of intentions that creates an atmosphere for growth, that creates an atmosphere for moving forward, that creates an atmosphere of abundance. I want you to set those intentions and understand that, what, it's not always going to be easy to show up for yourself in that way. And it's not always going to be easy for you to make sure that, those affirmations or goals or whatever it is come to be. But it is your responsibility to make sure that with whatever little bit of energy that you have left in you, whatever little bit of hope or whatever it is that you have in you, you still pour all of that into being your best self. You still pour all of that into moving forward. You still pour all of that into making your hopes and dreams happen. Even if it means just doing that one little, tiny little thing that one day that just moves you a millimeter closer to your dreams. You need to be the kind of person that understands that that is your responsibility. Okay? So I am actually going to set some intentions of my own. We're going to do some affirmations here together if you'd like. But I'm basically just setting my intentions for the new year because, I've seen how rough it can get. And I can imagine that it probably, unfortunately, will get rougher. And it is unavoidable. But in that roughness and in that toughness, I know that I will come out on the other side a winner, no matter what. I know that for a fact. And I know that because I have seen what I thought were my darkest days, and I have seen what I thought were the most treacherous, terrible of times. And I'm still here. I'm still standing. And I have experienced moments where I wasn't having a good time on earth. Okay? And I've experienced moments where I was so uncertain and I was fighting the universe so hard because I was like, how dare you attack me in this way? But you know what? I'm still standing and I'm still looking at life optimistic and excited and still very grateful for a lot of things and still open to whatever it is that the universe wants to give me, pardon me, because I hope you guys can't hear those birds. But anyways, because that is just the game of life, okay? And because it is unavoidable, I don't want to be the kind of person that then feels like I'm living by force. Ain't nobody forcing you to do anything, okay? I am living by choice and I am living intentionally, okay? And I want to set the kind of intentions that will help me navigate those low points in my life when they do come and visit me again. Because I don't want to be the kind of person that is stuck, I was stuck for a little bit, for a month. Next time, I'll maybe be stuck for a week. And the next time, I'll maybe be stuck for a day, But as long as I have less and less of those moments where I'm stuck, I'm good, And as long as I know that I have less and less of those moments where I'm stuck because I'm actively working towards not being stuck, then I am proud of myself and I'm happy. And I know that I'm doing life the way that life is meant to be done, okay? But let's get into the affirmations because your girl, once you get me started, I ain't gonna stop talking, okay? So, I intend to live this year intentionally. I intend to be the kind of person that not only says things, but really lives those things. Okay? I intend to be the kind of person that makes her dreams come true. Because I know that I am solely responsible for making that ish happen. Okay? I gotta wake up every day and go get it. Because I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. Okay? I intend to be the kind of person that inspires. And I intend to be the kind of person that loves herself through it all. Through the sad moments, the bad moments, the good moments, the high moments. I want it all because I know that I cannot avoid any of it. But I also want to be the kind of person that welcomes that thing and understands that it's just a moment in time and I'm going to come out on the other side better. Okay? And for this to really be true, I know that I'm the kind of person that needs to be telling myself every single day that I can, that I'm capable, you know? I need to be the kind of person that is able to affirm myself, even when there is nobody there to acknowledge me, even when there is nobody there to validate me, even when it's difficult. I need to be the kind of person that can still affirm myself and put myself in a space where I do better for myself and I really show up for myself, you know? So I would love to set some affirmations for myself for 2025 that I would love to share with you in the hopes that, you know, they inspire you to feel the same things. They inspire you to believe these things about yourself as well, you know, because if nothing else, I hope that I at least represent a human being that's really trying out here in life. Okay? If nothing else at all, if I don't move you at all, if I don't inspire you at all, if I just bore you, Nje, I hope at the very least that I have enough of an effect on your life to the point where it causes you to feel good about yourself and feel good about your life and feel hopeful about your life, you know? Because I know that if I can move you in that way, then I've already done that for myself. Just the fact that I could say things that at least at the very, very little, just change your perspective on life, then I've done good. I've done my parts. You know, I've done my little piece on earth. Okay. So, let's just get into like the affirmations. I am so sorry that my episode today is so all over the place, but at the same time, sorry, not sorry, because I really just do want to show up in front of you as a real person. I'm just a girl, bro. Like, I'm just a girl sharing my life experiences, sharing whatever it is that I feel I need to share. And I can only ever try to just articulate it in the best way that I can in front of this ring light and this microphone and this camera. Okay? But yeah. So these are the kind of affirmations that I want to implement into my life and that I want to practice this year and that I always want to remind myself of. And these are just top of my head, but if you like, please do follow along. Okay? If that's something you want to do. So, I affirm that I am worthy. I affirm that I am capable. I know that I am not the things that I experience. And I know that I am more than the limitations set for me. I affirm that I love my life. Even though it is turbulent and messy and unpredictable, I still wouldn't choose any other life. I know that I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. And I know that I will go exactly where I need to be. My legs will always carry me further than I believe that they ever could. And I will find myself in spaces that I never expected to find myself in. And I'm open to embracing the journey. I am enough. Even when life breaks me down, plays with my mind, and has me feeling like there is no hope, I am still grateful for this very life. I'm grateful that I get to wake up every day and breathe with ease. I'm so blessed. I'm just so blessed. Not for anything in particular, but just because I really am. I'm blessed even more so because I get to create my reality. I know that it won't always be an easy process, but I find so much pleasure and reward in striving for the things that will ultimately make me a better person. My feelings and emotions don't make me weak. Even when they weigh me down, try to drown me, I know that my head will always remain above water. I know that I am safe. I know that I'm okay. And if I am not, I know that I will be. Every day, I'm taking a step closer and closer to the life of my dreams. And it's scary, but it is also beautiful. Even though I am not ready for all the experiences and all the things that I'm going to see, I know that I don't have to be prepared. And I know that I don't have to show up perfectly every single time. My imperfections make me absolutely perfect. And I wouldn't choose to live life any other way. Even though a Ferrari would be nice. But yeah, I just hope that I could leave you with just a little piece of positivity, especially when things are so rough, especially when things are so tough. I hope that you remember that on the other side of things always tend to work out. You really have been through the days and the experiences that really tried to break you. But the fact that you're still standing speaks volumes, more than you could ever even really realize. Your story inspires even those people that you don't even realize it inspires. Your story is absolutely important. And I just want to put you in a space where you know and understand that your life is very important and your story is very important. And you need to be the kind of person that makes it a point to tell it. Whether you have the energy to do so, whether you don't, just be the kind of person that shows up for yourself and shows up as a representative for yourself, because we want to see you. We want to see you out there. We want to be inspired by you. When I see you getting up from the dust and dusting yourself off, it inspires me to do the same. And I hope that when you see me doing the same, it inspires you, I want us all to live our best lives. I don't see a reason why any human being shouldn't be able to live their best lives. And if it is because of internal conflicts, come back here. We're going to work on it, okay? We are going to have an amazing 2025, and the rest of our lives it's just going to be an upward trajectory from here, okay? Upward trajectory, and it's going to be amazing because we said so, because we set intentions for the year. We're living intentionally this time. We're not being crippled by circumstances and by things and by whatever, but instead, we're bringing in all that energy, all the good, all the bad, or whatever, and we're turning it into something that we can actually work with. And we're turning it into something that motivates us and keeps us going every single day, I believe in you. I love you. I care for you deeply, because essentially, you are me and I am you. Even though the paths that we walk in life are different, we're human beings at the end of the day. And I know that times get rough, but I also know that you're stronger than those moments. And I also know that you will prevail. In all that you choose to do, you will prevail. And so I hope that you're choosing to do the things that you want to do, the things that you love to do. And I hope that you're choosing to show up for yourself, You deserve somebody to show up for you. And if there's really nobody out there, then show up for yourself. And know that I am going to try my best as well to be the kind of person that shows up for myself too, so that I can come on here and show up for you. I want to be an example of a life lived honestly in full HD and in color, baby, okay? And sometimes when the clouds are looking gray, I have to find the reasons to still smile, and I still have to believe that, tomorrow the sky will be blue, okay? If any of that last stuff even made sense, but I know you get me, okay? So yeah, I hope that even though my episode has been all over the place, I have left you feeling better than you did at the start of the year. And you know what? If January was just not your vibe, if January was just killing your vibe, know that that was just, I don't even know what that was. It was like a test run, pretty much, The year really only starts in February. So from now until December, make these the best months of your life. And you don't even have to be doing like extraordinary out of the world type of things, but you do need to be living intentionally. You do need to be waking up every single day and telling yourself, you know what, I'm capable. You need to be waking up every day and telling yourself, you know what, today is a shitty day, but you know what? It's going to get better. We're going to try again tomorrow. And you wake up tomorrow, you will wake up and tell yourself it's going to get better again. You wake up on Wednesday and you will get better again. You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice, okay? Things will get better. Things always get better, okay? And I want you to know that. And I want you to know that I believe in you and I love you. And I know that things get better because I'm a person who has seen that, you know what? On the other side of the tragedy is just a beautiful life that's waiting to just be lived. So please live, okay? Don't be crippled. Don't be trapped by things that are especially out of your control. And if the things are in your control, even better, okay? Handle your business and bounce back even stronger, okay? This has been The Lovely Frequency, and I have been your host, Nampumelelo Miss Lovely, and I meant every single word, sincerely. I love you. Bye.